Hello, this is Malorian, and this is the Orc Tactical Team, and what we're going to be talking about today is just Beastmen in 8th. So there's a whole bunch of things I could touch on the army. I'll probably get to them later, but this is going to be a general overview. And to start off with, if you go on forums and things, Beastmen is actually ranked fairly low, which is kind of too bad, just because they're low for so long before. And I think the main reason for this is just the spells that they're limited to, the type of core troops that they have, and the real lack of war machines. But I really don't think that they're that bad off, and I'm going to just go over through it now. So let's start with magic. They have lore beasts. They have their own lore, and there's not a lot of good spells in there. But one thing I think that is fairly good with them is actually just taking the lore of beasts, the regular one from the main 8 spells. And what you're going to be taking from there is just the signature spell, the very first one that gives a unit +1 strength, +1 toughness. And the nice thing here is you can do that with several mages. So take several levels 1s and just take the signature spell every single time with them, and you can just buff up all your units. And you also have the other items you can use to combine with this for a little bit of synergy, because you have the one where every mage within a certain range gets you +1 dice. So all of a sudden here, bang, you can get an extra 4 dice or however many you decide to go with, and as well the other one where they all get +1 to their attempts to cast. So really. It's a 60-point item, but right away, once you have enough of these mages, it's well worth the output, as opposed to, say, paying the 35 points to upgrade their level all the way across the board. So with this, I think you can have a fairly strong magic phase, just buffing up all your units, and it's really not all that bad. Now let's look at some of the other things. So one of the things you really need to have with your units in 8th is you need to have something that's cheap. Just something you can get out there and get ranks. And they do have Ungors. For 5 points you have your model with a shield, and it doesn't have great stats, but you can still take them. You can still take a lot of them so that you can be taking rank bonuses away. And hey, you cast that spell on them so that they're strength 4, toughness 4. They're not too shabby either. So that's something you got there. If you ever want to go with more kills, you can always take the regular gores. I wouldn't bother give them extra hand weapons, because of course all those points are wasted once you go past their front models. But if you're looking for something a little bit more killy, then your strength 4, toughness 5, you get that spell off, and then it wouldn't be too bad. The main thing though, where I think that they have their strength, is the fact that they have the best gores. And the best Agor unit, it's a lot like other ones, like say like the Black Orcs, the Great Swords, where it's just kind of like a weak guy with a big weapon. But the big thing about them is that they have that Primal Fury. And because now in 8th, you can now use your General's leadership and you can re-roll with the BSB, a lot of times they're going to be re-rolling to hit, which is really great when you're thinking about all these weapon skill 4, strength 6 attacks. So this can be a really, really killy unit. You take a horde of these guys, 40 of them, and they're going to be doing a lot of damage. So I think that's a fantastic unit that people should really be taking a lot more of. If you start looking to something where the bigger models, say like the Minotaurs or the Razagors, I don't want to get into which one's better, but obviously you have the fact that they are there and you have these options, right? You can take the big units of either and do a ton of damage. And as well, once you have one of these units, say like the Minotaurs, well then you can take something like the Gorbull, which you can do the whole trick where they go to another unit and then come back just to give them frenzy. And so that can get a little bit of synergy there at the same time. I'll just say quickly now that if you do take Minotaurs, you probably don't want to bother taking any extra weapons because of how past the front rank you don't get any of those extra attacks, and the great weapons aren't really needed anymore. So unless you're going with the one rank, if you are going larger, just keep them cheap. If 55 points is cheap, which is not. And then you can get into your really big guys, right? They have things like the Gorgon. And it's actually fairly solid, I think, because the thing with, say, like the Gorgon or the Cygor is now with the Thunderstomp, you don't have to worry about making them all that killing in combat. So the Cygor can be there for your only real war machine to be throwing rocks, and then in combat he's stomping to make up for it. Of course, keep these things on the flanks so that they can, try and work that Terran things. But the nice thing about the Gorgon is that the fact that it can actually heal itself, because by going for that one little killing blow, every time you actually get it off, you get back D3 wounds. So you can really hold up a unit for forever, where, who cares if you won't be killing much? You know, your stomp is going to be kind of adding some kills anyway, but you can just keep on eating things and healing yourself and hold up huge units for the entire game. If maybe eventually even just beat them too, just by stomping away their ranks, and maybe they'll break. And while we're talking about breaking units, there's a nice little trick that the Beastmen have that all armies don't have access to, and that's because they have that one special character, the Malorian, I believe he's called, the mage that flies around. And the great thing about him is units within 6 inches of him can't use their general's leadership. So if somebody's taking a big huge horde of something to be steadfast, you can at least make it so that it's on their base leadership and not on the generals. The next thing that's nice is that they have another banner where they can reduce your leadership by 1 if you're within range as well. So what you can do is, if you want to break these big units, and say you don't want to just throw in, try and take their steadfast away with your unglers or something, is you can always take away the general's leadership, reduce it by 1, and as long as you beat them, there'll be a fairly solid chance that you can break them and run them down. So overall, I think Beastmen are a lot better than people give them credit for, but there are a lot of things that you have to kind of do and work together to make it be the best they can, and really concentrate on things like the bestigors. So anyway, thanks for watching, and next time we're going to be talking about hidden characters. So see you then. Bye.